Hi everybody, Dr. Stu Weiss here, answering another one of your questions. But before we get to that today, somebody sent in a comment asking me about that picture in my home office. So I want to just come on over here. This is by one of my favorite artists. His name is Jim Warren. He does a lot of these kind of very interesting, surreal kind of paintings. I'm going to move the camera and actually show you this a little bit closer because I really enjoy this painting. So let's zoom in here. And you can see I bought this in Disney, and it's Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. And there's actually a painter coming through the sky with his hand, and he's painting the painting. I really enjoy Jim Warren's work. So that's what that is. And let me zoom back out. And there's nobody here to work my camera with me, so it's just me and you. So thanks a lot for joining me in my home office today again. Let's see what today's question is. Today's question comes from Lauren in Westport, Connecticut. And she writes, "Dear Dr. Stu, what do you recommend we do before, during, and after grocery shopping to protect ourselves and our homes from contamination?" That's a great question. So let's talk about sterile technique and how we actually do it. I'm going to put this down over here. There we go. So there's actually a technique in the hospitals called sterile technique. And what that is a way to separate what's clean from what is dirty. And you can apply that same technique to groceries. So let's take a look on how you do that. So the first thing is I put a table right here, which could be the table that's in your home as well. And I'm going to take a roll of tape, and I'm going to actually take off a piece of this tape. Here we go. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay. Right? And I want to put a piece of tape right smack, and the tape's not cooperating. So I'm going to get my glasses so I can actually see the tape, and we'll try it again. Here we go. So there we go. All right, good. Now we can get the tape. So I'm going to take a piece of tape, and I'm going to put the tape right down the middle of this table, right here. Right? Can everybody see that? I'm going to actually lower the camera a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Right? There we go. So I put a piece of tape right smack down the middle of that table. And this side of the table is the clean side, and this side is the dirty side. So I'm going to actually, before I start, I'm going to actually clean off my entire table to make sure that it's actually nice and clean. So I have any cleaning solution. You can use whatever you want, diluted Clorox, or you can use, this is fantastic. Whatever it is, you want to soak this cloth really well. And then I'm just going to clean off my tabletop. So I'm going to clean off the whole thing. I want my tabletop to be sterile and the tape nice and clean. And I'm going to let the cleaning solution actually dry by itself, because that's the way it kills the germs, right? So then I'm going to actually take some hand sanitizer and clean my hands. So I'm taking some hand sanitizer and I'm rubbing. If you're in your house and you have a sink, you should be using a sink to actually wash your hands. It's better. Now let's make believe you've come home from the supermarket, right? So here's my bag. I'm going offset here, right over here, off camera here in my home. And here's my groceries, and I'm putting them on the dirty side, right? So these are my groceries, and they are actually, they came back from the grocery store, and I don't know if this bag that was touched by people in the store has virus on it. I don't know whether any of these items have virus on it. So what I want to do is, before I put it onto the clean side, I want to take an opportunity to clean it off, to wash it off, right? So if you can imagine, and you may have heard this before, that, if you imagine COVID virus as like sprinkles or glitter or something that's on the outside, you want to make sure that none of that glitter gets onto the clean side of your house, right? On the table, right? So I'm going to take a cloth, another paper towel. I'm going to fold it up a little bit. I'm going to saturate it with my cleaning solution really well so that there we go. It's nice and saturated. And then I take out my box of cereal. So here's my box of cereal. And I wipe down the box of cereal. So there we go, wiping down the box of cereal. I'm letting it dry. Now my box of cereal is clean, and I'm going to put it on the other side of the table. And then I'm going to wipe my hands, right? Good. The next thing, I take out my eggs. My eggs are inside a container. I'm wiping down the outside of the container that somebody could have touched, right? Here we go. And now I take that and I put it on the clean side and I wipe down my hands, right? The cloth is getting a little dry, so I'm going to spray some more Fantastic on it or whatever cleaning solution you use. I'm taking out the next thing, the milk. I'm going to actually wipe down the milk container, all four sides, the top, make sure that I got everything, and then I put it on the clean side. Wipe down my hands real fast. Good. Take out a can of tuna fish, clean off the top of it, the sides. Again, the idea is to make sure that I'm not putting anything on the clean side that hasn't been cleaned. A couple more items, bottle of soda or drink or whatever it is. Clean it off nice and neat, put it on the clean side. And lastly, box of pasta. Going to clean it off. There we go. My box of pasta is nice and clean. It's on the clean side. And now I am wiping off my hands, right? Now, the last thing in here, and by the way, one of the other things you could do is you could actually, if you want, you could actually have a container on that side and pour the pasta in it. So I don't have actually a container here in my office. I was looking for it. But if I had a container that I can actually go over here and get one that's not going to be used for food, but here we go. So let's say you had a container. There we go. Just dumping out something on my shelf that you can't see. But let's say you had this container right here, and this container was cleaned, and I cleaned it all off, and I made sure that it was nice and clean on the outside and nice and clean on the inside, and I let it dry, right? And I'd be washing this with soapy water on the inside so I don't get the chemicals in my food. But now that's clean, and what I can do if I don't want to wipe down the box is I can actually open the pasta box and pour it right into the container on the clean side, right? And then lastly, fruit and vegetables. Now, there's no good science behind this, but if you're going to wash your hands for 20 seconds with soapy water, why not wash your fruit, your thick-skinned fruit like oranges or actually thin-skinned like apples, right? So I'm wiping down the plastic with my cloth, right? Now I'm going to actually dump this into a sink, and I'm going to take dishwashing soap. The soap that you use to wash your dishes, not automatic dishwasher soap, but hand dishwashing soap. And I'm going to gently wash off the oranges, and I'm going to actually rinse them off, and then I'm going to, let's make believe this is now clean, I'm going to put that on my clean side. So now, oops, it's rolled to the dirty side, so I have to clean it again. So now we're going to clean it and put it back on the clean side. Oops, this orange does not want to stay. There we go. So now, whatever left that's on the dirty side when I'm finished, and I have one last thing that was in there, is I'm cleaning this off with my cloth, right? Putting it on the clean side. This is now considered dirty, so I throw it away. Right? I then go back to the sink and my pasta, which I will actually clean again with my cleaning solution. There we go, that goes on the clean side. Now there's nothing left on my dirty side, right? All the food is on the clean side. I can now gel my hands or wash them. Washing is better, but I'm gelling my hands, right? And now I can take all of that food and put it right in my refrigerator, right? right? Because all the containers have been cleaned. Now, we are making some assumptions. We are assuming that the food on the inside, which has not been touched by human hands for the last day or two, the food on the inside is actually clean. That's an assumption. We don't know if that's true, but we have to assume that, right? So we're assuming that the food on the inside is clean. The containers on the outside are now clean. So now that I've cleaned my hands, I can walk around to the clean side of the table, and I can now take all these items and put them right in my refrigerator and be very confident that my food is safe. I hope that explained how to do sterile technique with food. Remember, you want to divide whatever you're sorting your food to a dirty side and then a clean side. I like to use painter's tape because then it's very easy to get it off without ruining the furniture. The other thing to remember is please try and decrease the amount of times that you actually go to the supermarket. You want to make sure that you shop for about, most people are saying 10 days to 2 weeks worth of shopping so that you don't go that often. And also I would ask you not to go if your supermarket has designated times for old people or people at high risk. And if you're not in that group, try not to go to the supermarket at the time when it's designated for high risk people. Like here in New York, the morning hours, early morning hours have been designated in some supermarkets for older people. So you want to make sure that you're not going, that I wouldn't go at that time. Right? If you have a question, please go to our website, which is www.drstu.org, doctorstu.org. Send us a question. We're happy to answer it. If you have any questions about sterile technique with food, I'm happy to answer that as well. And thanks so much.